Good morning, dear students and viewers. I, Harsh Inania, Assistant Professor in Government Law College, Ajmer, shall discuss with you the remaining emergency provisions and we shall try to understand the various aspects regarding the same. So, let us begin. We had understood the meaning of the emergency, the term emergency, what does it signify. After it, we understood the various types of emergencies. The first one being the national emergency, the second one being the failure of the constitutional machinery in the state, which is termed as president rule or the state emergency as well. And finally, the financial emergency. All right, now let us move to the next part. After it, we understood that when the president may make the invocation of the provisions of emergency. Okay, so whenever there is a threat to the security of India or any parts of its territories by reason of war, external aggression, or armed rebellion. Okay, so if such a situation arises, then by issuing a proclamation, emergency may be issued. So let us try to understand the meaning of the term war. War may mean the existence of violent struggle between two countries through the application of armed forces. Okay, so it may be the typical war like situation which we have seen through time. Okay, it is a contention between two or more countries through their armed forces for the purpose of overpowering each other and imposing such conditions of peace as the victor pleases. Okay, as is rightly mentioned by L.C. Green in the essays on the modern law of war. Clear? All right. Now, let us also understand what Oppenheim had said in his treatise on international law. When there is a formal declaration of attack from one country against another, there exists war between them. Okay, so it might happen, it might not happen. So the other aspect is covered under external aggression. Okay, so let us try to understand what does the external aggression term means. Okay, so it has a very wider connotation, it has a very wide meaning attached to it. Okay, it covers the unilateral attacks by the use of force from one state against another without the formal declaration of war. Okay, so it might be this situation that one nation might have attacked the another nation by the use of its forces. Okay, but there the existence of the formal declaration of war is not present. So it is the main difference. Also, let us understand that such unilateral acts of force, so long as they are not answered by the similar hostile acts by the other side, constitute external aggression. So it is a unilateral action on the part of one nation. So if one nation has attacked by the use of its force against the other nation without declaring formal war, so it will constitute as a external aggression so long as the other nation does not respond to the similar hostile acts. Clear? So since we have understood this term, it might be easy for us to continue now. So we might get in-depth knowledge of the same. So we also understood that there might be the actual occurrence of war, external aggression, or armed rebellion, or there might be a situation in which there might be the existence of imminent danger, okay, of war, external aggression, or armed rebellion. So either it might actually occur or there might be an imminent danger of the same. We also understood that such a proclamation may be varied or revoked accordingly by the president. The most interesting part in this provision under Article 352 was the clause 3, okay, that shows that the president will not issue the proclamation until unless the union cabinet provides to him in writing that a proclamation of emergency may be made. Okay, so the PM unilaterally may not do such acts. Rather, the union cabinet approval is altogether more necessary. After it, now let us continue with clause 4. Every proclamation issued under this article shall be laid before each house of parliament and shall, except where it is a proclamation revoking a previous proclamation, cease to operate at the expiration of 1 month. Okay, so the time period has now altered after the coming into effect of 44th Constitutional Amendment Act. Earlier it was 2 months, now it is just 1 month. Okay, so every such proclamation issued under this article shall be laid down before each houses of the parliament, and except in the case when the proclamation revoking the earlier proclamation is there, it shall cease to operate at the expiration of 1 month unless before the expiration of that period it has been approved by the resolution of both the houses of parliament. Okay, so the another force acting in it, the another check and balance here, the another breaker here is that of the approval of both the houses of parliament. Okay, the first check and balancing thing here was the approval of written approval of the union cabinet. Okay, and the second one is that the proclamation will have to be approved by the resolution of both the houses of parliament. Clear? If it is not done so, then the proclamation will automatically be revoked, automatically be withdrawn, or it will become zero. Okay, so the proclamation will cease to exist after the period of 1 month if it is not approved by the resolution of both the houses of parliament. Next, let us read the proviso. Provided that if any such proclamation, not being a proclamation revoking a previous proclamation, is issued at the time when the House of People has been dissolved, or the dissolution of the House takes place during the period of 1 month referred to in this clause, and if a resolution approving the proclamation has been passed by the Council of States, but no resolution with respect to such proclamation has been passed by the House of People before the expiration of that period, the proclamation shall cease to operate at the expiration of 30 days from the date on which the House of the People first sits after its reconstitution, unless before the expiration of the said period of 30 days, a resolution approving the proclamation has been also passed by the House of the People. Okay, dear. Let us try to understand what this proviso has to say. But firstly, I would like to mention that the life cycle of that proclamation of emergency, how short it can be. Okay, the shortest one will not be the period of 1 month. Okay, what we read in clause 4, which mentioned that the proclamation will be laid down before each houses of the parliament and it will have to be approved. Okay, so if it is not approved within a time span of 1 month, it will cease to exist automatically. But we have to see that it can even be revoked. Okay, so it is provided in the form of exception here. So if the Union Cabinet wishes, it can even revoke the proclamation of emergency even before the period of 1 month. Clear? So if you are to interpret this provision, if a question regarding it is asked, then you, dear viewers and students, will have to answer accordingly. Okay, so the shortest period till now which we have read can be even lesser than the period of 1 month, since the Union Cabinet can withdraw such proclamation. Is it clear? All right, now let us understand the proviso which mentions that if the proclamation is issued at such a time when the House of the People has been dissolved. We all know that the Lok Sabha is the only house which can be dissolved. The upper house, that is the Rajya Sabha, is a permanent house and cannot be dissolved at any point of time. Okay, so if there is a existence of a situation wherein the House of People has been dissolved and at such a time a proclamation of emergency takes place, or the second situation being the dissolution of the house taking place during the period of 1 month, which we read just before it. Okay, in the clause 4, we read that there is a period of 1 month for the approval of both the houses. So if during this period, if the House of People, that is to say the Lok Sabha, dissolves, then too what happens? Let us try to understand. Okay, so if the resolution is passed when the Lok Sabha is dissolved, or if the after the proclamation being made and within the period of 1 month, if the Lok Sabha is dissolved, okay, and what happens is the resolution approving the proclamation has been passed by the Council of States, okay, but no resolution regarding the proclamation has been passed by the House of People, then such a proclamation will cease to operate at the time period of, at the expiration of 30 days from the date on which House of People first sits after its reconstitution. Okay, unless before that period it has approved. Okay, so let us summarize this proviso and let us conclude. Now we must understand that if the proclamation of emergency has been passed and it has been approved by the Rajya Sabha or the upper house or the Council of States, okay, needless to mention that all of these are same. Okay, so if the proclamation is passed and it has been approved even by the upper house, and during that period if the Lok Sabha is dissolved, okay, so if the Lok Sabha is dissolved within the period of 1 month, or it was dissolved from earlier. So what happens that the Lok Sabha has not been given the opportunity to look onto that resolution. So now we will wait until the time that the Lok Sabha is reconstituted, and the maximum period will be when the Lok Sabha will be sitting for the first time after its reconstitution. Then the period of 30 days is the maximum time limit within which that proclamation of emergency has to be approved. Clear? Now you must understand that you must read all the provisions collectively. Okay? So, dear students, we will continue our lecture in the next video. Till then, have a great day. Keep learning, keep studying properly, and keep responding to the videos. Kindly comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you.